Hello, beautiful learners. Welcome back to Daily English Learn. I'm Eva.
And I'm Mark. Eva, I have a question for you. When you talk about your day in English, do you feel like something is missing? Like the words are correct, but they don't sound natural?
Oh, Mark, yes, so many students tell me this exact problem. They can say all the grammar correctly, they know the vocabulary, but when they speak about their daily life, native speakers look confused or they sound like a textbook, not like a real person.
Exactly. And today, we're going to fix this problem completely. We're not just teaching you vocabulary about daily routines. That's boring, and you already know wake up, eat breakfast, go to work. Everyone knows these words.
Right. Today, we're going to teach you the natural way English speakers really talk about their day. The small expressions, the connecting words, the feeling behind the sentences that make you sound fluent and confident, not robotic.
By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to describe your entire day in a way that sounds completely natural. You'll understand why native speakers say certain things in certain ways. And you'll learn the mistakes that make your English sound unnatural, even when your grammar is perfect.
So, if you're ready to stop sounding like a textbook and start sounding like a real English speaker, stay with us. Let's begin.
Okay, Eva, let me start with a big mistake I hear every single day. Students say, I wake up, and then I get up, and then I wash my face, and then I brush my teeth, and then I make coffee. Everything is and then, and then, and then.
Oh, yes, this is what I call the robot problem. You sound like you're reading a list, not talking about your life. Native speakers don't speak this way at all.
Exactly. So let me teach you what we really say. First, we don't use and then for every single action. We use time markers that show the natural flow of the morning. Listen to this. I usually wake up around 7. First thing I do is check my phone for a minute or two. After that, I drag myself out of bed and head to the bathroom.
Did you hear the difference? Mark said, first thing I do, and after that, and drag myself out of bed. These phrases make it sound real, like he's telling a story, not listing actions.
Yes, and notice I said drag myself out of bed. This is so much more natural than just I get out of bed. When you add these little descriptive phrases, suddenly your English has personality. You're not just doing actions, you're expressing how you feel about them.
I love that. Let me give you another example. Instead of saying, I wake up at 6 o'clock, try saying, my alarm goes off at 6, but honestly, I usually hit snooze at least twice before I actually get up.
Perfect. Now you're speaking like a real person. You're adding honesty and feeling, and that's what makes English sound natural.
So learners, here's what you need to remember. Morning routines are not just actions, they have feeling. When you wake up, do you jump out of bed excited? Probably not. Most of us are tired. So we say things like, it's always hard to get up in the morning, or I'm not really a morning person, so I need coffee before I can even think straight.
That's beautiful, Eva. And this is important. When native speakers talk about routines, we admit the truth. We don't pretend everything is perfect. We say, I know I should wake up earlier, but I just can't seem to do it. Or, mornings are rough for me until I've had my coffee.
These confessions, these honest statements, this is what makes your English sound warm and real. You're not just reporting facts, you're sharing your experience.
Now let me teach you some phrases for the bathroom routine that sound much more natural. Instead of, I brush my teeth and wash my face, try, I freshen up quickly. Or, I splash some cold water on my face to wake myself up. Or even, I take a quick shower to feel human again.
Yes, these expressions have life in them. They tell us how you feel, not just what you do. And this is the secret to natural English. Always think about the feeling or reason behind the action.
All right, let's move to breakfast time. Eva, what's the biggest mistake you hear students make when they talk about breakfast?
Oh, this is easy. They say, I eat breakfast, I drink coffee, then I go to work. It's so plain, so empty. There's no color in these sentences.
Exactly. But native speakers always add extra information naturally. We say things like, I grab a quick bite before heading out, or I don't usually have time for a proper breakfast, so I just have coffee and maybe toast if I'm lucky.
Listen to how much more interesting that sounds. You're explaining your situation, not just listing actions. You're saying, I don't usually have time, which tells us you're busy. You're saying, if I'm lucky, which shows you're being honest and a bit humorous.
Yes, humor is so important in natural English. When we talk about daily routines, we often make small jokes or complaints. It's normal. We might say, breakfast for me is basically just coffee. I know, it's not healthy, but that's life.
Perfect example. You're having a conversation, not giving a report. Now, let me teach you about leaving the house because this is where students sound especially unnatural.
Go ahead, Eva. I know exactly what you mean.
Students say, I leave my house at 8 o'clock, I go to the bus stop, I take the bus. But native speakers say, I head around 8, or I usually leave by 8, or I try to get out the door by 8, but I'm often running a few minutes late.
That last one is gold. Running a few minutes late is such a common natural expression. It's what real people say. And notice how Eva said, I try to, and I'm often. These words show that life isn't perfect, routines aren't perfect, and that's okay.
Exactly. And when you talk about your commute, don't just say, I take the bus. Say, I hop on the bus, or I catch the number 12 bus downtown, or I usually end up standing the whole way because it's so crowded.
These details make your English come alive. You're painting a picture. The listener can imagine your experience. This is what good English conversation does.
Now, what about people who drive? Don't just say, I drive to work. Say, I drive to work and traffic is always crazy in the morning. Or, I've got about a 20-minute drive, so I usually listen to podcasts. Or, I carpool with my colleague, so we share the driving.
Beautiful. Every sentence has extra information that makes it interesting and real. You're not just stating facts, you're sharing your world.
Now, Mark, let's talk about the work part of the day, because this is where I notice students really struggle to sound natural.
Oh, yes. They say things like, I arrive at work, I start working, I work on computer, I have lunch, I work more. It's so mechanical.
Exactly. But the workday is full of natural expressions that native speakers use all the time. Let me show you. Instead of I arrive at work, we say I get to work around 9, or I usually roll in just before 9, or I make it to the office by 9 on a good day.
See how casual and natural those sound? Roll in is especially good because it's informal and honest. It makes you sound like a native speaker immediately.
Now, when you start your workday, don't say I start working. Say, first thing I do is check my emails, or I usually grab a coffee from the break room and then settle in at my desk. Or I catch up on messages and see what's urgent for the day.
Perfect. And during the workday, use these natural phrases. I'm usually tied up in meetings all morning. Or I'm stuck at my desk working on reports. Or I spend most of my time answering emails and dealing with client requests.
Yes, these phrases like tied up, stuck at my desk, and dealing with are what native speakers actually say. They're not formal, they're not fancy, but they're real.
Now let's talk about lunch, because lunch conversation is very natural and relaxed. We don't say, I have lunch at 12. We say, I break for lunch around noon. Or, I usually take my lunch break at 12. Or, we all head out for lunch together around 1.
And what you eat is a great conversation topic. Don't just say, I eat sandwich. Say, I usually pack a lunch from home, or I grab something from the cafeteria downstairs, or there's a great little sandwich place nearby that I go to all the time.
These details are everything. You're showing how you really live, not just translating words. And in the afternoon, don't say, I continue working. Say, the afternoon just flies by. Or, I power through the rest of my tasks. Or, the afternoon is usually quieter, so I can focus better.
Beautiful. And when the workday ends, we have special ways to say this too. Don't say, I finish work. Say, I wrap up for the day. Or, I call it a day around 5. Or, I try to leave by 5, but sometimes I end up staying late.
Wrap up and call it a day are expressions you must learn. Every native speaker uses these phrases constantly. When you use them, people immediately hear that your English is natural.
All right, now we're in the evening, and this is actually the easiest part to make sound natural, because everyone relaxes their English when they talk about relaxing at home.
That's so true, Eva. The evening is when we're most honest and casual. So instead of saying, I go home and I rest, say, I head home and just crash on the couch for a bit. Or, I get home and the first thing I do is change into comfortable clothes. Or, I'm usually pretty tired by the time I get home, so I just want to unwind.
Yes, words like crash, unwind, and decompress are so natural for the evening. They show you're not a robot. You're a human who gets tired and needs rest.
And dinner. This is where English gets really interesting. Don't say, I make dinner. Say, I whip up something quick for dinner. Or, I usually throw together a simple meal. Or, some nights I'm too tired to cook, so I just order takeout.
Perfect. Whip up and throw together sound so natural. And admitting you ordered takeout sometimes, that's honest English. That's how real people talk.
Now, after dinner, we have the evening routine. Instead of saying, I watch TV, say, I usually veg out in front of the TV, or I catch up on my favorite shows, or I scroll through Netflix trying to find something to watch.
Oh, Mark, that last one is so real. We spend so much time scrolling through Netflix looking for something. This is the kind of detail that makes your English sound genuine and relatable.
Exactly. And before bed, don't say, I go to bed at 10. Say, I try to be in bed by 10, but I usually end up staying up too late on my phone. Or, I'm terrible at going to bed on time. Or, I should go to bed earlier, but there's always one more thing I want to do.
These confessions are so important. Native speakers always admit their bad habits with humor. We say, I know I should go to bed earlier, but I'm a night owl. Or, I keep telling myself I'll go to bed at 10 and then suddenly it's midnight.
This is what makes English warm and human. You're not pretending to be perfect. You're sharing your real life with all its imperfections.
Now, before we finish today's lesson, I want to give you one final secret about describing your routine naturally. Ready?
I'm ready.
The secret is always include how you feel or why you do something. Never just state the action. Compare these two. I wake up at 6 versus I set my alarm for 6, but I'm definitely not a morning person, so it's always a struggle.
Huge difference. The second one has personality, feeling, and honesty. It sounds like a real person talking.
Exactly. So whenever you describe your routine in English, ask yourself, how do I feel about this? Why do I do it this way? What makes this hard or easy or funny? Then add that to your sentence.
This transforms your English completely. You stop translating and start communicating. You stop reporting and start connecting.
All right, beautiful learners, we've covered so much today. You now know how to describe your entire day in natural, confident English that sounds like a native speaker.
Remember, the key is not just vocabulary. It's adding feeling, honesty, reasons, and personality to every sentence. Don't be a robot. Be yourself.
Practice this today. Try describing your morning, your work, your evening, using the natural phrases we taught you. Say them out loud. Get comfortable with them. Make them yours.
And if you loved this lesson, please subscribe to Daily English Learn. Hit that like button and share this with anyone who wants to improve their spoken English.
We'll see you in the next lesson where we'll teach you even more natural English for real-life situations. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep being awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.